So, damn it.
Equipment.
Yeah, equipment. I start with so on everything.
Equipment.
Equipment. Here we go.
So much equipment.
We wanted to document the entire trip because we are filmers and we thought this is like a journey of a lifetime. Why not get it on film and then possibly share it with everyone else? We quickly realized that our packing had to be very minimal because our packs filled up with gear and tools and clothing. And so we didn't have a ton of space for large cameras, which we have access to, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we want to use that all the time. And so we thought, well, we have this GoPro kit. Why don't we use GoPros?
We had two Hero 3s. We had the Hero 5, which would have been good to bring an extra like lens cover with it because it ended up getting cracked.
And then we also had another like Hero 4 or 3, I don't know.
Yeah, what Thadd had.
Yeah. We had that, which turned out working fairly well, and we thought, oh, you know, we're gonna be mounting this on super bumpy dirt bikes, and the dirt bikes will absorb some vibrations with the shocks and stuff, but we're going off-road, so why don't we look into some type of stabilization? And that's where we got
this guy.
Pulsating.
This is like the ZN Rider M. It's like a
it still has charge.
Wearable stabilizer. You can hear it doing its thing that it does all the time. This thing was okay, but not really worth it in the end because it would shake so much and then it would just like stop working. The battery life was pretty good. It does have a like smooth image, but it still like was just cumbersome and just ultimately like would fall off axis and not really work.
Mm-hmm. But we mainly stuck to just these hard mounts. So this is like a selfie stick, which was very easy to just put away in your pocket. I kept shoving it in my day pack on the front straps, and then I'd pull it out and film myself.
That was probably one of the most versatile things.
Yeah, and you can get a lot of angles. You know,
Yeah.
like you can get down low and get some foot and tire shots. You could get up high and get everybody if you took the lead of the pack, or you could flip it around, put it over your shoulder, and kind of get a POV of everything.
Handlebar mounts sound like a good idea when you're riding motorcycles. This one did okay. This one broke several times. It's like gaffed and zip tied back together. Mm-hmm. But they, other than like, I guess if you got a really nice Ram mount, they might work a little bit better, but we were trying to like switch it between bikes and everything, and these just didn't really hold up. So the thing that ended up working the best was to take one of these like modular tripods and wrap it around whatever. And then we brought these zip ties, like reusable zip ties. You can find these on Amazon. They're really great. And then kind of use this as like a safety chain or hold this thing in place. But it was nice because these, although they adjust, this was a lot better for like getting a different angle, moving it around, and kind of using
side
different
shots, profile
things.
shots.
Right. Or pulling it off and using it as an actual tripod.
Yep. We had, I think, 4 or 5 extra batteries for the GoPro, and the Wasabi ones were the good ones, and then the Mi Body or whatever, which we've thrown away now because one,
it got like overheated.
It melted.
And it melted.
It melted the charger.
Yeah, it melted the charger.
And then those batteries, they just like weren't compatible with the GoPros.
Right.
Like they wouldn't, it would say it had charge, and then you'd put it in there and it would die within like 15 minutes. So we just didn't even use those. We just used the branded GoPro batteries and then the Wasabi. The Wasabis work just like the GoPro batteries. And then you have that extra 3-bay charger that the Wasabi comes with, which was super helpful.
So we would take that, and then so one of the better things, which we don't have here, but there's the little battery tender thing that plugs into the pigtails and converts your motorcycle battery USB. Those are like $12 and totally worth getting. One thing that we should have had more of was like an external battery back or battery bank or whatever, the kind of cell phone rechargeable things. We had one, but multiple of those would have been okay. or just more GoPro batteries.
Right, more batteries is definitely beneficial. And having either bigger cards, because we only had 32 gigabyte cards for everything.
We had a laptop set up to like dump the footage when we met up with the truck every few days, but then that became like an hour-long process that we didn't really have time to spare.
And we didn't always get to meet up with the truck.
Yeah.
Like, because the weather or the location didn't turn out how we thought it was going to be, and so we would just be stuck with this footage and we wouldn't be able to dump it. And so we'd have to be very sparing on how much we could record.
Which was not really the right way to go about it. Like,
No.
you kind of need 3 cameras rolling at all times.
Mm-hmm. And so maybe like they sell those 128 micro SD cards, those 128 gigs, and that would probably be great. That brings us to our Spark, which was bought because we wanted to get aerials, and it was like the smallest drone on the market that got 1080 footage and at a decent price. And it was new when we got it. It was like just on the market. Now you can probably get one that
Used for pretty cheap, I imagine.
Right.
We use drones professionally, and it's not great for that application. Like, if you need to depend on it for a client, it's not.
Right.
It's not great for that. The image signal sucks. It's pretty unpredictable.
The flying speed's not good.
Right. The battery life is pretty poor. I will say that.
Yeah.
But for what we were doing, it's good. I think to give up the space to go with like a Mavic, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but the price point, like, it's hard to beat. So all around it's pretty good. The 4K one now with another gimbal is out. You might consider that, but I imagine you can pick these up pretty cheap. And for something that you're like throwing into the back of a dirt bike, like it's good for what it is.
Yeah, and it fits into this little pack, and that comes with the charger, the spare battery we had, and the controller. And this packed away nice.
One thing with the Spark is like the one battery, you know, that would get you like one shot. So you basically we had 2 batteries. We got 2 shots a day. Mm-hmm. And then if we weren't going to see like plug-in power anywhere, that was 2 shots until the next time. So there were a lot of times I wish we could have stopped and got more drone footage, but we just simply we had to be too selective. Again, you're like, this is kind of cool, but I think we'll see a better vista later today. Do we want to use the battery now? And then sometimes you'd pass up a good shot. Last thing,
probably the easiest, most versatile piece of camera equipment we had was the cell phones. Everyone has one. They're right on hand. They're easy to just swipe up, flip over, and you're in video mode. And we all had to keep it fairly charged because we were using the GPS on it, so that was always taking precedence over these batteries as well. So
yeah. One other thing too, I think, is audio. We did not do any helmet audio, which is a great way to
Oh yeah, and if we ever do this again, that's something that's like an absolute that we want to get.
Because we had to kind of recall it, as we got into editing months later, we need to explain what's happening here.
Right.
What did happen that day? We tried to record our daily vlog, and that was hard to do.
The audio quality on GoPros it's not up to snuff. So it'd be nice moving forward to have just a log of everything we were doing, all of our conversations, and they have the equipment out there to do that. We just didn't invest the money and time into getting that.
I think that it was necessary.
I feel like if you were to go out and do something like this, you could pick up gear very similar to this for around what?
$1,000 with a couple of GoPros and a drone.
And your phone. You know, you probably already have a phone.
Right.
So
you take the drone out and that's gonna cut that in half.
Yeah. You can tell none of it was amazing quality footage, but it still captured the majority of what we did. We would like to bring a second crew around or someone just designated to filming.
Yeah.
Because it is a huge time suck and commitment if you want to document your trip. So lesson learned. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about it.
Cool.
Bye.
Love you, bye.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah.